What's up, guys? It's Johnny from the shop. So today is going to be part 3 in the linear actuator series. For today, we're going to be taking apart this linear actuator that we broke in part number 2. If you haven't seen that video, I strongly suggest you go look at it. It was a lot of fun breaking this thing. So today, we're going to take it apart and try to determine the failure mode. So I guess we will start with taking these brackets off because they're just in the way. I'll try to get this. It's like, could be, I don't know, Delrin, or I don't know what kind of plastic this is. We'll see if we can find any marks and Google them later. I don't see any casting marks on this side. That was easy. So that is the bracket taken care of. There's a stop plate at the end here. Okay, so that's slightly unnecessary. The little grease in there so the screw can ride against it. And that's the cover plate off. You can see down in there the screw, and there's a nut embedded in this plastic. And from what I can see, the nut looks fine. It's definitely strong still, so we might have had a failure someplace else. I'll unscrew all these. I won't make you guys sit through this. So through the magic of editing and this DeWalt drill, I've gotten these all almost out. The last one. Okay. So we got some more grease. Looks like we have a worm drive driving a screw. This motor just drives this wire, this Alright, so in here in the back here, big beefy bearing. See if I can't remove the entire housing. There we go. Big nice bearing. Plastic drive wheel. This worm and wheel. Ah! There it is, guys, already. Didn't have to get very far in here. We found the failure mode. Get a tighter shot so you can see what happened. Alright guys, so if we get in close here, we can see that the screw has just completely dug out the worm wheel here in the section that we were at when we stalled it. And so that's the first thing to fail. This little plastic worm wheel gear. Keep unscrewing it. See if we can get it all the way out. Okay, so we got the screw free. Big, beefy, let's say maybe 5/8 shaft. Nice strong thread pattern. Triple start, actually. 3 starts to this thread. And that, I thought there was going to be a nut in here, but it looks like, yeah, there's no nut. There's no nut in here. I don't know if you guys can see this very well. It's kind of greasy, but there's absolutely no nut. It's just threaded into this plastic. See if we can't find some sort of mark anywhere. I can't. And it's certainly not the most highly finished piece of plastic, but it's pretty rigid, man. I mean, I guess for the tolerances that we've got going on, or for the stresses, it's got to do the job. I mean, shit, it lifted like 122 pounds before we gave up on trying to break it with weight and broke it in the vise. But yeah, just threaded right into the plastic follower. It's very large. See how hard this screw is. I bet you it's not that hard. Yeah, it's definitely digging. Not skating at all. Yeah. So not ridiculously hard, just regular fastener strength. But got two really big bearings. 803Z. Two really nice big beefy bearings on the back here. I guess to index it, because I mean it sits in the front in this little cap with no bearing, just basically friction fit in there. A couple of fasteners hold this tight against it. And it's greased so it doesn't build up too much heat. Not that this is even really a high-speed application or meant to be super sturdy in the first place, but yeah, you can really see how much it ate out of there. You go slow, flat, flat, big cup, flat. So that's definitely what failed. Other than that, the rest of this looks fine. Big aluminum casting with a couple of wires that go through. So there's two wires that go through in here, and if you look deep in there, you're probably not going to be able to see it. See if I can't get some light in there to show you. Look down in here, you can see the little red bit is a tactile switch that just gets hit with the follower as it comes past by this one of these grooves here. Little tactile switch gets hit by this little groove here in the follower, and that basically just cuts power. It's an interrupter switch. You can hear it snap action little, and that's how they stop it. There's one up there, and there's another one here in the back. So that's basically your entire stroke control, is just these two little tactile switches. One at the bottom and one at the top. Basically just stops it from ripping itself apart, which it would easily do, I think. Just a couple of fasteners and some plastic versus this big meaty shaft. Motor doesn't look to be anything super special. Oh, that's cute. So, this is a cast zinc body, real lightweight. Little cast bearing holder, with a little spring washer to keep tension on the motor rotor. This is a permanent magnet DC motor. Brushed, yeah, it's cute. Little brush DC motor. Interesting, the brushes are actually closer to the output than the input. Brushes are down here. Basically, the rotor goes through to this little screw right here, this little worm drive. Cute, man. Little mechanical reinforcement with this elastic stuff around the contact point for the power coming in. The brush assembly is actually retained by those two fasteners. There are two more underneath the brush assembly. There's actually, it's weird because it's drilled and tapped for 4 fasteners. They only went with 2. I guess it's a pretty low speed application. You don't need that much clamping, especially for these little baby brushes. The brush holders are just, looks like a nylon Feels glass fiber reinforced. You can't get them out of there. Cute little springs that I will never find again. See, cute little brushes. It's like straight graphite, nothing special. Like I said, it's a pretty low speed application. Not really calling for a whole lot of anything crazy. I don't know how the hell they got a screwdriver in there, or let me see. I cut the brush assembly, the little nylon brush assembly, to get at these fasteners, and it looks like all this is just a dust shield for another bearing in there. Up underneath there's another bearing, and it looks like it's just been pressed in there. Let me see if I can take this thing over the vise and press it out. Okay, so that took a little massaging with the vise and the hammer to get this thing out. But it looks like this zinc, this front plate for this motor, is actually cast into this nylon body. It's just some, looks like indexing tabs, 3 of them. It's cast into here. You can see in this grease, though, there's a bunch of plastic shavings from the worm drive wheel when we chewed it all up, breaking this thing. But yeah, this take a look at the motor rotor. It's a thin little stripe where the brushes were making contact, and these couches were probably 10, maybe 12 years old, and they were used daily. So really not a whole lot of use, or a whole lot of carbon built up on the commutator bars. You can see the motor's been balanced with epoxy, and nothing special, no balancing cuts or anything like that, just cheap and quick and dirty. And then a couple more bearings on either side. Worm drive wheel just basically indexed on this. You can see where it chewed out a whole bunch right there. But if it was nice and new, it would index on this worm drive wheel and spin this big, essentially this big bolt on a couple of bearings. But super simple, man. It's nothing too complex. Fairly elegant design, at least in my opinion. I mean, what do I know? I'm just some dude in the shop. But from the looks of things, it got the job done. Definitely as a couch, it definitely lasted for years. Never had a problem with the mechanism. I actually got rid of them because the fabric let it down more than anything else, the fabric of the couch. But the mechanisms themselves were completely fine, which is why I yanked all these actuators. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed the teardown of this little linear actuator that we broke in the previous video. I still, like I said before, I've got 2 more of them. Looking for suggestions for some projects to do with them, something neat to build other than the cabinet that we've got. If you guys have any ideas, please leave them down in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more like this, please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time, guys.